Welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market Garden Shorts. Today's plant of interest is Rabbiteye blueberry. Now, its scientific name has changed, though you'll still see in the nursery trade its old name, Vaccinium ashei. It's currently called Vaccinium virgatum. Virgatum means of Virginia. Ashei, I have been unable to determine what it means, but since it's endemic to the southeastern United States, it makes sense that they would stick Virginia in the name somewhere. Now, usually what can grow in Virginia can grow in North Carolina, can grow in South Carolina, Tennessee, so forth. This is a variety of blueberry that is native and endemic to this region. It is particular about its soil. It's what's called a calcifuge in that it will not tolerate any kind of basic or alkaline soil. It actually needs a soil pH for optimal growth between 4 and 5. That's acidic. Now, it also was spread by underground runners, sort of like rhizomatous spreading, but its seeds are viable, so it can come back because a bird ate blueberry and, well, did the do. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the blueberries, see what they look like, because they are fabulous this year. Delicious. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Now, Rabbiteye blueberries have an unusual naming convention for their common name. They're called that because before they turn fully blue, they're pink, like a rabbit's eyeball. Now, I don't know how many rabbits you've looked at, but last I checked, rabbit eyeballs weren't pink. So I don't know. I prefer the other theory that since they get to about the size of a rabbit's eyeball, that's where it comes from. Now, I'm kind of creeped out at the agronomist who probably sat there with a rabbit's eyeball and a blueberry side by side. Yeah, old school agronomists were some weird people. They named some weird stuff. But that's okay. Now, blueberries typically come into their own right about now, in June. The harvest season for these, depending on when the heat comes on and how the rains pan out, can be anywhere from very late May to June all the way through July. Mine are popping right now, and it is about the middle of June. Well, a little bit late, it's about the 20th. So they're about on par. They're full and loaded, and I've already pulled several pints of blueberries off of this. Now, what makes these blueberries particularly good is that they are productive. However, blueberries grown and picked from the vine taste very different than what you're used to. Rabbiteye blueberries are best for cooking, smoothies, preparation, though you can't eat them raw. If you want them at their sweetest, you pick them in the morning. Otherwise, they're good for, general consumption. They may have seeds, but they're not big enough to be a problem. I should also point out, the most famous relative of the blueberry family, also a Vaccinium, is cranberries. Yeah, that's right. Those bog-dwelling blueberry bushes, those cranberry plants that grow in weird peaty bogs and are harvested and are a staple at Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas, a relative of blueberries. All the blueberry species that we know, high bush, low bush, they're all really endemic to North America. They're actually our staple berry, which is really cool to think that we have something that specific. But in the case of Rabbiteye, they're absolutely endemic to the southeast, which is great. You'll find them in the woods, which is what makes these blueberries easier for you as a grower or a homeowner. Now here's the neat thing. Rabbiteye blueberries like to be planted in spots that have not been cultivated before but are recently cleared, which is kind of what I did here. This whole area had nothing in it, and it's right next to the tree line, which mimics exactly where they'd naturally be growing. I did not put down lime. I did use peat moss in their soil preparation. I did use compost. I didn't change the acidity one little bit. I only give them supplemental irrigation when I see they're stressed. These have been in for somewhere between about 9 years, yes. And so they're absolutely fabulous. Oh, there's my ugly shed. Yes, I just insulted my own property. But you can see, this is 4 bushes. They're all, as I said, Rabbiteyes, and I believe it is Tiff Blue, Powder Blue, Home Blue something. They're all parodies on the word blue, because blueberries. Sometimes growers are not that inventive. I'm going to take you around and show you the suckering. And no, that's not a P.T. Barnum joke. Right here. You can see these are either volunteers or natural offsets of the blueberry group. Either way, I'm glad to have them, and I encourage them. This area is disturbed land that is not used for anything. It's right on the pine tree edge, so not a problem. Volunteers are going to be a thing you're going to have to deal with. Now, I say that because there's always going to be extra berries. The birds are going to get some and the birds are going to poop. That's life. That's the circle of life. Weird circle, but you get my point. What makes blueberries special, well, let me put it this way. What makes them special is they do produce copious amounts of berries. And in fact, from the back view, you can see what I mean. Look at all of that. That's a lot of blueberries. That's a lot of damage. But what makes them great is that if you grow them like this, you will always have blueberries, and so will the birds. You don't need netting. My blueberries are strong, independent rabbiteyes that don't need no netting to prevent the birds from getting the berries. There's enough for both of us. I get several pints, they get some berries, there are little volunteers that crop up in random places, everybody wins. Now, there is one last thing I need to point out when you're talking about blueberries, and that is that the flavor of blueberries is unique, especially when fresh. After they've been frozen, assuming it's quick freeze, or you put it in your home freezer or something like that, the flavor changes a little bit. But the thing is, blueberries, freshly picked, or fresh, don't taste anything like the blueberries you're going to find in prepared product. Like if you get, I'm going to make fun of a corporation here, Hostess, or whoever owns them now, their blueberry cakes, or Entenmann's better yet, those aren't necessarily real blueberries. They might have some blueberry in them, or they might be dehydrated blueberries that they reconstituted, but they're artificially flavored to what test groups think a blueberry tastes like. That's not what a blueberry tastes like. Blueberries are sweet and tart, and you know, a high bush isn't going to taste like a rabbiteye, and a low bush isn't going to taste like either of the other two. And then the soil conditions and fertilizer and other factors play roles in it, including what time you pick them. Blueberries are America's great agricultural contribution to the world because they're the easiest crop. They have a whoa, that's weird. Don't mind me, there's a giant spider dangling in the blueberries, and I'm like, oh my. Anyway, they are one of our great agricultural contributions to the world. They have a flavor that cannot be really replicated. A fresh blueberry is a thing to behold. On yogurt, stick it in ice cream, stick it in a pound cake, jams, jellies, you name it. It's everything. It's one of the best things we got going for us. And more people should plant them because they're largely self-sufficient once established. As you can see, these 4 blueberries have gone big time. And I believe that's all I have for you today. So, if you like this unscripted, albeit long-form video, and I'm hoping to do more scripting and better quality videos that are of a longer duration, say something like, subscribe, let us know what you think. I would love to hear your comments back. If you have a specific garden plant that you think I should cover, I will cover it. It's just, I'm doing an impromptu order. Production of videos is going to be turned down in lieu of quality, so expect possibly 2 videos a week, something like that. If you like this, that, up in quality but reduction in number of videos, but longer length, also let me know. Check out the blog, and like or subscribe. As always, folks, keep them growing.